Hi students, good morning. On this third session of transformation of sentences, we are going to look at interchange of assertive into interrogative or interrogative into assertive sentences. Okay, here it is basically we have studied when we studied about sentences in lower classes, like questions as well as statement sentence or assertive sentences. Okay, I am a teacher, and if you change that into a question, am I a teacher? Okay, or are you a teacher? Whatever it is, we can, depending upon the situation, you can change. So bringing the verb, the be verb before the subject, we used to make those questions. That was one style of question making. But here we are going to make question to mean the same, not to answer. These questions that are asked here are not to be answered, but it is used instead of a statement. Okay, that's how the meaning is the same. We make it into a question form, or a statement into a question form, and a question form into a statement form, but the meaning does not change, and it is not to be answered. Okay, so such questions are called rhetorical questions. It is only used instead of statements. Okay, actually Westerners have this habit. They, instead of saying today it is very hot or it is very cold, as it is today, it is very cold today, they would ask, say the same thing by asking a question, is it not very cold? And then when you hear that, you should not say an answer to that. It is only instead of a statement, he is just putting it in a question form what he wants to express. Okay, so that is what we are going to see in this session today. Let's look at that. An interrogative sentence is sometimes interrogative only in form. That's what I told you, not to be answered. In substance, it is an emphatic statement. Okay, a statement stressed. For example, both the following sentences. Who can bear such an insult? Who can bear such an insult? Or can anyone bear such an insult? Now this question, no, nobody can bear such an insult. No, it is not possible for me to bear. Such kind of an answer should not come from our mouth. It is not said or meant for that. Instead, nobody can bear such an insult. Now we are in the middle of a conversation talking about a person who has suffered very badly an insult from his higher officials or somebody else, neighbor or whatever it is. Now after that we are having a discussion. During the discussion, okay, is this, how can a person bear this kind of an insult? Okay, when we say that, it is actually nobody can, or you should not have borne such an insult, or nobody can bear such an insult. Okay, to state that, we are asking these questions. Okay, as we saw in the beginning of transformation of sentences, it's a different style, it is more meaningful, or it tells about your command over your language, tells about your ability to say the same thing in different ways, all that you can see here. But this is what is, and it is known as rhetorical questions where answers are not expected. And these are that, can anyone bear such an insult, or who can bear such an insult, are interrogative only in form. They have not been framed to elicit any information to give an answer. They want to make an emphatic statement, which is nobody can bear such an insult. It is possible to change the form of such a sentence from interrogative to assertive and vice versa. We should remember that the affirmative question implies a negative statement, while a negative question implies an affirmative statement. You remember when we studied question tag, a similar situation. For an affirmative sentence, you have a negative question tag, and for a negative sentence, a positive question tag. The same way, listen here, and we should remember that an affirmative question implies a negative statement. So when you make it into negative, it should be a negative statement. It should be a negative statement. and a negative question implies an affirmative statement. That means when you make a negative question into an affirmative sentence, it has to be a positive or affirmative statement. Am I wrong? That is positive in nature. So am I not wrong? That is negative in nature, the statement. Or aren't you crossing all the limits? Question is in negative form. So the statement is you are crossing all the limits. Now study the following examples carefully. Interrogative. Isn't she exceptionally tall for her age? Thinking of her age or of her age, she is much more taller, because for a particular age we know that a person should be of an average particular height. Now this is more than that. So she is exceptionally tall for her age. Next, can amassing wealth be the sole aim of life? We studied this in moral science. Okay, amassing wealth cannot be the only aim in life. We studied that we should not live only to gather, collect, amass wealth. So can amassing wealth be the sole aim? A positive question. And amassing wealth cannot be the sole aim of life is the negative statement. Who could have dared to contradict the chief minister? Who could have stand against what the chief minister said or acted? Okay, that is the question. And the negative statement, nobody could have dared to contradict the chief minister. Nobody was daring, courageous enough, capable of contradicting, go against or disagree with the chief minister. Now, how have I offended you? How have I? Again, positive question. I have not offended you in any way. I have in no way. I had no intention of offending you in any way. So I haven't. So I have not offended you in any way. What though we had to compromise a little? Even if we had to compromise a little, we could have done. What is wrong in that? Because it is for a better purpose, we could have done that. And again, positive questions or negative questions, statement. It does not matter if we had to compromise a little. Even if we had to compromise a little, it does not matter. When can her memory fade? She is such a bright person and her memory will never fade. So when can her memory fade? That's a positive statement. Her memory can never fade. It is not possible for her memory to be fading. Alright. So with that, for today's section is over. Remember that interchanging of assertive and interrogative, the question is not made or the question is not asked to give an answer. It is a different way of saying stressfully or giving emphasis on it, and the meaning is the same. What you have to keep in mind is that if the given question is in positive, when you make the affirmative, it will be negative. If the given question is negative and when you make the affirmative, it will be positive. Or you can do it vice versa also. Okay, from an affirmative sentence you can make a negative rhetorical question, and from a negative statement we can make a positive rhetorical question. Rhetorical question means the type of questions which are not meant to be answered but to be understood as statements. I suppose it is clear to you. Fine. Please don't forget to contact me if you have got any doubts. Thank you.